Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing a book on my channel. I know that's a little random because I usually do my book reviews on the Collab channel I'm a part of, We Read Books. But one goal I set for 2015 is to do a few random book reviews here on my own personal channel. Book reviews is such a big part of the content I produce for YouTube. I thought it almost seemed natural that I actually do some of that on my own personal channel. So the first book towards that goal in 2015 of doing book reviews here on my own personal channel is the Unrated Colors of Guatemala by Fabian Hernandez. So for full disclosure, this book was actually sent to me by the author/publisher to review the book. I get these offers every once in a while, maybe a couple times a year, but usually if the description of the book doesn't sound interesting, I just turn it down. But this one sounded intriguing, so I decided I would give it a try and read it and then give a review. So first I wanted to read what the back cover said because it gives a good overall feel of the plot, and then I'll delve into what I liked and I didn't like. So I apologize for reading and not looking at the camera, but it's what I thought would work best. So, The Unrated Colors of Guatemala follows four young men during a 24-hour sabbatical through the unpredictable streets of contemporary Guatemala. Thomas is an American in his mid-20s who moved to Guatemala after college to attend dental school. After 2 years of being removed from privileged American life he once knew, Thomas's priorities are no longer the same, and he must decide whether to continue to try to live up to other people's expectations or his own. On the day that his fourth semester ends, Thomas joins Jorge, Chavez, and Victor on a drugged-out joyride that reveals the spirited subculture of Guatemala's urban youth. Throughout the journey, they will all meet with unexpected reminders of their deepest fears, forcing them to confront their young insecurities of love, life, purpose, and faith. What starts as a typical evening of irresponsible debauchery turns into a midnight road trip through the unknown mountains and an escape for survival. So overall, I really like this book. I would give it kind of a rating between like a good to a very good book. Not quite great, but good to very good. So first, what did I like? I really like the characters. The author does an excellent job of giving each character their moment to shine, to delve into what motivates them, the challenges they're facing. A lot of times when a book has several main characters it's trying to focus on, one of the characters ends up getting shortchanged, or you feel like that character should be thrown in and it doesn't really mesh with what the other characters are going through. It's a hard challenge to actually focus on several main characters and make you care and interested about all the main characters. And I thought the author did a really good job about picking the four main characters. Each gets their moment to kind of go into their backstory, to evolve as a character, and really reach some sort of satisfaction in their conclusion of where they've reached by the end of this one-day journey they're experiencing. I will say my favorite character was Thomas, which I think if you had to pick out the main character out of the four, I would probably say it's Thomas, at least in my opinion. A lot of the other characters kind of evolve around him, so I think he's kind of really the true main character, but the other three do get a huge amount to play in this book. The other thing I really like is kind of when I mentioned the characters, that you do get to see how the impacts of this journey really impacts them. It's not just all about, oh, we're having 24 hours of wild fun and adventures, but they're having no impact on them as a person. It really shows as they go through this stuff, they're really evaluating other stuff, making decisions in regard to schooling, future career goals, to relationships they have, family. So it really kind of shows how these events are impacting them beyond this one day that the book is covering. The other thing I really enjoyed is how detailed and interesting a look into Guatemalan culture it gives. It's very interesting. You know, I've personally never been to Guatemala. I've never traveled to Central or South America. So I don't really have much knowledge of that culture, and to me it gave a really interesting look into what it's like to live this type of life in Guatemala. Very interesting, and it's by no means everything's negative or everything's positive. The author does a great job of showcasing both, which makes it more realistic, because a lot of times we get a view of a different culture and everything's just completely positive. You go, well, that's not realistic. Nowhere is completely positive. On the same side, if an author gives a view of a different culture and everything's negative, again, that's not realistic, because everything has its positive aspects. So I think the author did a great job of showcasing, like, here's what's great and here's what's not. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the book. Alright, the relationships. I really enjoyed the relationships in this book as well. They're very realistic, very complicated, between the friends, between boyfriend, girlfriends, guys and girls who maybe be going down the relationship route, but I'm not sure yet by this book. The relationships are all very different. Each one has their own unique twist of it, and I think the author does a very interesting job exploring the different types of relationships that people in this age group are really going to experience, and how they're all different. They're not all the same. So what did I not like about this book? So part of this I'll give a warning. So if you're thinking of reading this book, I would definitely say this book is a rated R book. If you have to go by movie ratings, I would say this is definitely rated R. So typically if you only like reading stuff that's like PG-13 or PG, this book is probably not for you. It deals with very extreme acts of violence. There's a couple of sex scenes in the book. And then probably the thing that definitely earns its rated R in, this book has the most drug use that I've actually ever encountered in a book. It's throughout the book. So if you're not into a book that kind of delves into rated R culture, this book is probably not for you. But if you're fine with that, then you'll probably enjoy it. The acts of violence and the sex didn't really bother me in the book. I felt for most cases when those items were brought up in the book, they were there to move the plot forward, and they made sense, which is like the author's like, oh, I need something really violent here, so let me just put on a random act of violence, or I need a sex scene to really juice up this book, let me do that. That wasn't the case. I think they were in there because they were the natural point in the plot to move the plot to the next stage. The drug use in the book I had a little bit of an issue with, because I felt like the author went a little bit overboard with it, mainly just because how much he used drugs to move the plot forward. I think I'm not saying he should have got rid of all the instances of drugs use, but let's just say on a scale to 1 to 100, where, you know, as the book currently stands, he's at 100, I probably would have dialed it back to maybe 50 or 60%, and then I think it would have been at a more natural place where it felt like it would have just been moving the plot forward, where I think in some cases it just felt like he just threw in acts of drug use just because he almost felt like he needed to, and it didn't really move the plot forward. But in some cases, the drug use does move the plot forward, and those were the instances that I would like to have seen remain in the book. So that was one of the few things I didn't enjoy about the book. You know, it's not a huge complaint. Like I said, I still think it's good to very good, but that's kind of one of the things that kept it from being a great book, in my opinion. And everybody's a little bit different. You know, if you're, I think your views on drugs and stuff like that is probably going to impact how much that bothers you, or if it doesn't bother you at all. But overall, like I said, I really enjoy this book. I would definitely recommend it. I actually posted a picture of this on Instagram last night after I'd finished reading it, as I do with all my books, and actually had me ask if this is magic realism, the genre that's very famous throughout Latin America and Central America. And I do think it has elements of magic realism, so if you enjoy that aspect of literature, that genre, I think you'll really enjoy that. If you're looking for a unique book that's definitely different from the way that young adults are traditionally presented in literature, I think now we're so used to books like The Hunger Games, The Divergent, The Maze Runner, those types of views of young adults, that the Unrated Colors of Guatemala are definitely giving a very different look at what it's like to be a young adult. So I would recommend it. So The Unrated Colors of Guatemala by Fabian Hernandez. If you're looking for an interesting read, encourage you to check it out. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any recommendations for books you think I should review in the future, either here on Reread Books, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you the next time.